Hey guys, so this video is pretty short. It's just kind of about my frustration at taking ovulation tests for the first time. Just the first couple months we really didn't use ovulation tests at all. We tried to just guess and see, if it was just going to happen without any effort at all, and so far, that wasn't really working so far, and so we decided to try ovulation strips. But amongst me testing ovulation strips, I discovered a disturbing truth that some of us probably know pretty well by now, that are in the TTC community and are currently trying for their first children. They've never done this before. Ovulation tests can sometimes be hard to read. They're supposed to be as dark. Both lines are supposed to be the same level of darkness, and on some tests that's really hard to read, and some women, their tests don't even show up that dark. So this is pretty much just me being super uncertain about whether or not my test was positive or negative, or what was really going on. There's a lot of confusion at the very beginning of trying to use these ovulation tests, which the ones that I was using are first response, but everything in this is ovulation tests. There's no pregnancy test or anything in this, just ovulation tests. And I put an image in of the ovulation test that I talk about, just to show why it was confusing, because it wasn't quite the same, solid color as the control line, so it was a bit confusing for me, this being my first time using OPKs. So for me, I really had a big struggle with OPKs at the beginning, and it was not entirely pretty. So this is how I was feeling when I first started to try them, a bit confused and frustrated. So stay tuned. Hi, I thought I would go ahead and vlog today. So I've been taking ovulation tests every day since my period stopped, and on this Saturday, which was the 14th, it got close to being positive for ovulation, and having an LH surge, but it wasn't what I would consider matched to the line next to it. And then after that point, the lines on the stick got progressively lighter, and at first on Monday, for example, I thought that was just the line was going to get darker. It was just in this weird middle phase that some of my other ovulation tests have been in, but that didn't happen, and it just started to taper off, become lighter. It was super duper light yesterday, and yeah, it's just it's crazy. So I don't know if I ovulated on Saturday or not. If I were to post the photo of the positive, or what I think might have been the positive, I don't think a lot of people would agree that it's positive. But at this point, I'm at my wit's end. I'm still going to test moving forward until my period actually starts. I have a very awkward, irregular schedule. And since I started my TTC journey, it's been I've been having 6-week cycles. So who knows? That was only week 2. I'm gonna keep testing until I get my next period, and we'll see kind of like if it goes back up or what. But for now, on my glow up, I just kind of like was like, yeah, this is gonna count for now as being positive, and that way I can at least have some basis of possibility versus like just being like I didn't ovulate at all. Like, I mean, would be super weird if I wasn't ovulating at all. And then symptom wise, today, so on the Saturday when it was the darkest of the 2 lines, Louis and I had sex and we baby danced essentially. And so now I'm just waiting to see what happens. But today my left nipple, and only my left nipple, has become sore for no reason whatsoever. So that's kind of strange. I'm not really sure what to make of that. I'm feeling kind of like weird, just like, because my doctor was like, or not the doctor, but the nurse was like, well, typically if you're gonna start your period, your nipples will hurt, and then if you're pregnant, your boobs will hurt. Which, upon my research, has not necessarily been true. There's been women with sore nipples that are pregnant, and there's been women with sore breasts that are not pregnant. So I felt like that was a bit of like an exaggeration. It wasn't really well formulated in any basis other than personal experience, which I know, excuse me, I know it's like weird for a nurse, but at the VA hospital they don't have a women's health system. So they had no idea about fertility and pregnancy, and they just knew some basic stuff. And so, I'm kind of stuck there until I do have a positive pregnancy test and I can go out to another doctor. So it kind of sucked, but that's where I am at. I guess we'll see what happens. Probably will end up starting my period in a couple weeks, but I'm going to keep testing to see if it ever gets any darker or if it's just that one time or what, but we'll see. Alright, bye later. Yeah, so that was awkward. It was very confusing at first when I just really didn't know what was going on with my body and what was going on with the tests and what the tests were trying to say to me. I have some struggles with tests after that will probably be in a later video, but just really showing how difficult it is to really understand these tests, and you want so badly for it to just be like, you're ovulating, or like, yes, you are ovulating, but it's this weird contrast where you have to have the LH available on the test to be able to show up positive, and it can be very, very frustrating, especially when you're not really sure what exactly your body is doing, what the test is saying is not what you think it should be saying. Both lines aren't the same shade of darkness. Of course, there's many women who experience testing in many different ways. Some women out there, they just use their basal body temperature, and so yeah, I've started to test 2 times a day now instead of just once a day, because every 12 hours you have the availability for it to be positive, and you don't want to miss a huge conglomerate of time within your fertility window. So I've been doing that, and this was a huge learning curve for me, just really trying to figure out how the heck to read these tests and figure things out. And in a future video, I'll kind of show and talk about how this was not an easy feat for me, and there was something that was actually impeding my process of understanding it. So, but for now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.